Hi everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Bonnie Krebs and the creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way. So today I'm going to show you how to stamp this little watering can. This is one of our brand new sets and it actually comes like this. So it comes with the watering can and 3 new long stems. So this is really easy to do. You're going to love this set. And in addition to these, we're also going to need to use one thing from the foliage set. So this is the basic foliage set 1, and we're going to use this large grass right here. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start out by inking the water can, and because it's shiny, I'm going to start with the blue. So this is a number F86 African Violet. You could ink this in the sepia as well if you want to make it a color. If you want to make it old and rustic or old and rusty, you can ink it in the sepia and then add color to it later. So to start out, we're just going to do it in the number 86 African Violet. Okay, so I've stamped it on the watercolor paper. I'm going to dip my brush and I'm going to begin by pulling the color out of the lines. Just drag this color over to the center. All the projects start this way. So just follow the lines. If you notice you're getting too much color on here, just dip your brush and pinch it off again. Always think about the sun being directly overhead. That's the easiest way. And when you do that, everything is darker underneath. Darker on the sides anyway because the containers are round, and so you want to keep them round, so you want to be sure that you have this area in here. The area that's closest to you should always be the lightest. So if we're standing and looking at this watering can, this area right here, because the container is round, is going to be closest to us. So that's the area that we want to keep the lightest. So we can drag this color over to the center, but we want to be sure to leave that open. As soon as we color it in solid, it's going to be flat, and so we try to avoid that for sure. Underneath here, under the spout, that's going to be darker because remember the sun is directly overhead. And just keep putting more and more color. This is a little color on the palette. I just put it on there with my marker. So I can take a little bit of this and just drag it over to the center. A little more under here. And there we go. Okay, now let's go to the next step, and we're going to drag some of this color to the outside. We want to get that background shadow effect, and this is going to give us more dimension. So we're going to drag some of this color out to the back. Just pull it out. Okay, now we're ready to add the foliage to the container. So let's start with this one. This looks like a hydrangea. So it's really cute. We're going to ink that. And I'm going to ink the stem. And I'm going to sort of go in a clockwise direction. So I'm going to start about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see I have the darkest image right in the center. And you see all these white areas in here? We don't want this to be colored in solid. There's a reason that the stamp isn't solid. We need to have those white areas, and that gives us texture and dimension. So when you add water to it, be careful that you're adding water only to the lines. And this will all just come together. The lighter ones sort of fade out into the background, and the darker ones come forward. You're just dabbing, remember that. No brush strokes, no circular motion, especially with these flowers that are really detailed. Just dab. Just takes a little bit of water. Okay, let's go on to the next step. So we're going to add some foliage in here now, and I'm going to use this new one. I just love this guy. And really, for the most part, we're only going to use just parts of it. That's the nice thing about stamping, is because you can just ink the parts that you need. So we're going to just sort of fill this guy in the back. A couple there. Let's ink it again. 1, 2, 3. Let's put another one here. And then let's add water. And just touch all these little leaves. It sort of changes the shape too. You know, when you add the water to it, it changes the shape so it doesn't look like a stamp. We're trying to avoid that. So remember, just a little bit of water, not a ton. And just blend all these colors together. I blend the blue into the green and everything together. Okay, let's add something in here now. So we're going to take the large grass, and I'm going to use a different green. This is the number 15, and I'm just going to add some grass in here. Remember to walk the grass. Let's just go ahead and add some down here as well. Dip your brush and drag this grass up. Pull this color down. Remember, with the grass, you can use a brush stroke. Just pull that color up into the other images here. Okay, let's put something tall in there. We've got a new long stem, so cute. We're going to ink this one up, and let's use a bright color. I'm using the magenta, number 20, and really be careful that you just get the blooms. So we're going to ink the blooms. And I have a lot going on in here, so I don't really need the stem. So I'm just going to ink a small part of the stem. Maybe just to about here, so about halfway. And then we're going to add this to the background. And the same too, you can see on this one there's some little white centers. Be careful to leave those white centers. When you go to add the water, just make sure that you're getting the image, the line, and leaving that center open. It's going to add a lot of dimension if you do that. Okay, we can add just a couple of these down below as well. Let's just do that. Ink these again. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the stem. And let's just put a few in here. Again, we want to make sure to leave the centers open. And just dab. Just takes so little water. Let's put just a couple more in. Again, just a little bit of the stem. And we're about finished. You can add a little more color to the side and drag that over. The grass and all of this foliage inside of this watering can would be hanging over, so we're going to have a shadow here, so we can put that in. Be careful that you don't drag the color across these lines. Make sure that you keep the color inside the lines. A little darker under here. Don't be afraid to add more color. And into your arrangement also, you can add a little more texture in here as well. Add a little embellishment. Sign your work and date it. And thank you for watching.